Hi, I'm Jennifer of Celtic Knot Crochet, and today in this video I'll be showing you how to make the easy crochet zipper pouch. This is a basic pattern that even a beginner could do because it is built off of the single crochet stitch. I'll show you how to change colors, how to work this stitch pattern, and then how to put it all together so that you can have a great looking zipper pouch as well. A nice benefit to this pattern is that it can be easily adjusted for any size pouch. One of the reasons I created this pouch was so that crocheters didn't have to know how to sew the zipper. So I show you one secret ingredient that makes this super easy to make because you do not have to sew the zipper yourself. If you like this project, make sure to give us a thumbs up and don't forget to click to subscribe. Let's get started. To make the easy crochet zipper pouch, you're going to need 2 colors of dishcloth cotton. I'm using this Natural Cotton Max Color 4/6 by Circulo, and it is a nice thick cotton with great colors, and I decided to use their red and white, but you can use any dishcloth cotton. 1 skein is plenty for one of the pouches. Then you'll need a J or 6mm hook. You'll want a tapestry needle because there will be a few ends to weave in, and you'll want some matching thread and a sewing needle. Now I'm going to end my pouch with the red yarn, so I picked this red thread. But you might have to wait and see which color ends the top of your pouch because that's the color thread you want. You'll also need some scissors, and the secret ingredient is a ready-made canvas zipper pouch. You can find these on Amazon. I got this one at Hobby Lobby. Remember, all supplies are listed in the description below with where to purchase them. But with this already made zipper pouch, it creates our lining and gives us the zipper all attached without us having to try to figure out how to sew on a zipper. So that's why this is an easy pouch because we use one already made and we're just going to add crochet on top. The instructions for this zipper pouch can be adjusted to fit any size pouch. So to begin, you'll want to start by putting your slip knot on your hook, and you want to have your pouch handy because I'm going to chain the length of both sides. So I'm going to chain a double length of one width of my pouch. So what I do is I chain 20, and I want to see how close I am to being the length that will be long enough for one width. So I need a little bit longer. And for this stitch pattern to work, you're going to want an even number of stitches. So I want to go just slightly longer. See how this is just a tiny bit longer than one side. So that's 24. And I'm going to do 24 more. So now I have a total of 48 chains, and if I bring the end to the beginning, you could see that it would go around the pouch. And there's a little bit extra room. So I wouldn't go right up to the edge, I'd do a little bit extra, because this stitch pattern has a way of naturally making itself tighter. Here is this pouch made with acrylic yarn that is on the thinner side, and I found the acrylic yarn in this stitch just gets tighter and tighter, and it actually was very difficult to make this stitch. So I decided to experiment and use a different fiber, and when I use cotton, it made it much easier. So I highly recommend using cotton for this stitch pattern and for this project. I loved how these two greens look together, but it was just so hard on my hands when I got to about here for these last several rows. I could barely put my hook into the stitches because it naturally just gets tighter. And I had to make it quite a bit bigger at the beginning, and it shrunk as I went. So let's stick with the cotton, a nice thick cotton. And like I said, you just want to go a little bit longer than the width of your pouch. So I have an even number of stitches, and then I'm going to add one more stitch. And now I'm going to work in that second chain, and each chain across working just a regular single crochet. So if you remember, here, I'll take this out and show you again. So I've made 48 chains, and I'm going to add one more chain, and now I'm going to work into that second chain from my hook and do a single crochet. And I'll do that in each chain across. Hook in, yarn over, pull through the chain, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'll keep going until I get to the end of the chain. And this is my base row of single crochet. So I've completed my 1 row of single crochet, and because this stitch pattern needs to work in the round, I'm going to wrap the beginning of row 1 around to the end of row 1, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch by putting my hook through both loops of that first single crochet, yarn over, and pull through everything. And this little opening right here, I can use this yarn tail to sew it up. And then I'm going to chain 1. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change colors with this chain 1. And before I move on, I just want to check that my tube here, I made sure that it didn't twist, will fit over my pouch. And there it does, with a little bit of room, a little extra room. And like I said, this stitch pattern does tighten up a little bit, so it'll make it nice and snug along this pouch. And we're going to work in the round, adding rows until it fills this whole length of the pouch. So row 1 is just single crochet. Now when we do the color changing of this project, we're going to just pull the yarn color through our last stitch of the round. So for this first color change, I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm just pulling it through to make a chain 1. And I'm going to leave the red just hanging down, and we'll grab that for row 3. So here I have that first single crochet, and here's my second one. I'm going to start working into that second single crochet, and I'm going to do what's called a waistcoat stitch. So waistcoat is where you work a single crochet, but you put it in a different place than you normally would. So normally when we work a single crochet, I'd put my hook under the top 2 loops and yarn over and pull through, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, like we just did for row 1. But for the waistcoat single crochet, I'm going to go into the heart of this previous single crochet right here. So I'm going to stick my hook in down in here, and I like to push it kind of like down and to the left. And if you see what happens on the back, that little, here are my top 2 loops, and then there's this other cross loop here right below the top 2 loops of a single crochet, and I want to make sure that my hook goes in to the center of the single crochet and comes out under this. So if we see here, see how the backs of the single crochets, here's the top loop, and then they have this loop here right underneath, and then they have two legs, one going this way and one going this way. And I want my hook to go through the center of the stitch between those two legs under that back side loop right here. And I'm just going to complete the single crochet as normal. Yarn over, pull through the stitch, two loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through two. Let me just tighten up that yarn tail, and then I'm going to put another one right in that spot again. Hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. And that's all that there is to this project. So you're going to skip the next stitch and then do two waistcoats in the next single crochet. So again, see, I'm putting it down low, not up here, but down low in between the front two legs. See these front two legs of the single crochet? And I push in, and I think down and to the left helps it come out in that right spot. And again, using this bigger hook, a 6mm hook, and the cotton yarn really helps it to work well. I found this stitch works best with cotton yarn. Then I skip the next one, and I'm going to do two waistcoat stitches right here into the next single crochet. And I'm going to do that all the way around. And because I made sure I had an even number of stitches, everything should come out fine. So I skip one, do two waistcoat in the next one, all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you when we get to that last stitch, and I'll show you how we're going to change colors for every round after this one. Here we are at the end of the round, and I have two more stitches left, so I'm going to work into that last stitch because I skip one, do two waistcoat right in here, 1, 2. Now before I finish this last stitch, I'm going to drop the white, pick up the red, and do my last yarn over with the red. And tighten up the yarn tail there of the white. And now I have my red all set and ready to go. And this way we don't have to weave in any ends on the back of our work. And it's not going to show because we're never turning our work. We're keeping the right side facing the whole time. So right here, see this red, this is my chain one from before and the slip stitch joining. So I'm just going to skip that. And now I'm going to work the stitch pattern again. Here are my first two single crochets. I'm going to skip the first single crochet and then do two waistcoat stitches right into here. See, my first single crochet, second one. So skip the first one, then push down and to the left, yarn over, pull through, two on my hook, yarn over, pull through two, down and to the left. And this is where you get that neat look in the pattern. By putting two waistcoat stitches into the second single crochet, it makes this one leg of the single crochet stand out on its own. And when you stack them on top of each other, you get the really pretty two-color pattern. So I'll continue. Skip one, two waistcoat in the next one. You can see it works pretty fast, and you get the hang of it pretty quickly. It's just waistcoat stitches. Just make sure you skip one and then two in the next one. And we'll continue around like we're doing here. And when we get to the last stitch and the last yarn over, I'll switch back to the white. I'll meet you back up for that one. Now I'm finishing row 3. I have my last skip one and do two waistcoat in my last stitch here. 1, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on my hook, drop the red, and now pick up the white, yarn over with the white, snug it up, and now I continue working. Skip 1, 2 waistcoat in the next one. And I'm going to continue like this until my project matches the height of my zipper pouch. And I can check periodically, see how my pouch is fitting. Like I said, with the cotton yarn, it should stay pretty close to the same size, and it fits around my pouch nicely. And I'll keep repeating these 2 rows until I get almost to the end. And one thing to note is that I would like to end on the red. I just think it would look best if I had red on the bottom and red on the top. So it might mean that your pouch, your crochet part, is a little bit longer than your bought pouch, and that's okay. I think it's worth it to get it to look how you want. So continue with the stitch pattern, and I'll show you how to finish it. So here you see I've gone around several times, and the stitch pattern works up very quickly. And let me just check here how it fits my pouch. So I'm going to slide my pouch in. Like so. And it almost is the same size. So like I mentioned, I want to end with the red. I just think that would look the nicest. So I'm going to slide the pouch up a little bit, and I'm going to do one more finishing row here so my crocheted piece matches the pouch. And I recommend doing a single crochet border along the top edge, and that'll really help this stitch pattern look its best. So I've changed to the red. And now I'm just going to work a regular single crochet in each stitch across. And that helps finish off the project. So I'm now no longer skipping, I'm just going to do a single crochet in each stitch around. I've gone all the way around that last row, and I'm going to do a nice little invisible join. It's an easy technique. So I'm going to cut about 6 inches off, and instead of yarning over, I'm just going to pull through that last stitch with the yarn tail, and then I'm going to put it on my tapestry needle. And now I'm going to take this yarn tail and go through the first stitch of the round under both loops, like so. And then I'm going to go back down through the middle of that last stitch. And I like to go through a couple other loops on the back at the same time. So you see I'm going down through the center of that last stitch. And that gives me a nice invisible join. And you can't see a knot. And then I'll weave these ends in. And now we're ready to finish our pouch. Now we're going to take a long piece of the red yarn, and I'm going to sew up the bottom opening of my project. And what you can do is you can turn it so you have the wrong side facing, and I'm going to tie it on like so, put the yarn through both sides, both halves, and do a nice double knot. And then I'm going to whip stitch, get rid of that yarn tail, whip stitch like this. So here's the opening, and I'm going to go through one side and through the other, and do that all the way down the length of the pouch, making sure that I'm going through both thicknesses, both sides, and that'll close up the bottom of this tube. And you can see here when we change the colors, we just have the colors running along on the inside of the pouch, and nobody can see that, and you didn't have to weave in all those ends. When I'm finished, I'll turn it right side out again, and we'll be ready to attach it to our canvas pouch. So our pouch is almost finished. I sewed up the bottom and turned the right side out again. I wove in all my ends, and now I can slide my pouch inside. What could help is you can unzip it, put your hand inside, and fit the corners down into your crocheted piece. And then I'm just going to adjust it a little bit, pull up the pouch, because I want my crocheted part to come right there along that seam like this. And I can pin it in place if I want, or just leave it and hold it as I go. So I'm taking a sewing needle and a double strand of thread so it holds nice and tight, and I'm going to work through the pouch. Now here's an option for you. This right here is where the zipper edge and the pouch edge are, and you can sew right along in here, or you can lift that up and sew underneath it, and then your stitching will not show even when you unzip and look inside your pouch. So if you want to do that, you just hold it up like this, and it's very simple to do this. The matching thread kind of just disappears and you don't even notice it. So I just go up and down, so I make sure I go up and down through each stitch. So I came up through here, now I'm going to go down through the same stitch and work behind that zipper edging. You don't have to do the behind the zipper edging thing, so if it's kind of too complicated for you, just sew it right where you can see it. And then I'm going to come back up through, which is what I'm going to do here. Come back up through, and you can see my stitching here along the inside. No biggie. So down through one stitch, back up through the next, so that my pouch crocheted piece gets attached. And this way I'm not sewing on the zipper. The zipper's already there. I'm just attaching my crochet part. And I'll continue like this. There's my stitches. I'll continue like this all the way around until my crochet piece is nice and secure. I've finished sewing on my crocheted piece, and there we go. I have my zipper pouch. Now, if you'd like, you can swap this out too. So you can just clip these stitches here on the zipper pull if your pouch comes with a canvas pull like mine does. And just cut this right off. And I just have a place here to attach a new pull. So I just chain 20 and slip stitched along the chain, and I'll feed this through like so and use my tapestry needle to sew these two ends together. Make sure they meet up. Go over the end a couple times like so. It's a little like that. So the loop is closed up, and I put the join right down at the bottom here, and I think I'll sew it up on either side too. That way it won't move around. It'll keep that join right there in the base of it. I think it kind of finishes it off nicely. So I'll do that on both sides. Just put a couple stitches along the edge like that, so that's not going anywhere. I've secured it, and I'll weave these ends into this little tab, and there we go. My easy crochet zipper pouch is done. I love this stitch pattern, love how it looks, easy to make. Of course, it has to be done in the round, but you can adjust this pattern to fit any size pouch. So I hope you enjoyed making this project. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to click to subscribe, and don't forget to watch the next crochet tutorial video. Thanks for watching, and happy crocheting!